Let's go video game thrifting in Denmark.
So we needed to do some errands in a different town, and as such we rented a car, and I decided this would be a great opportunity for me to check out some thrift stores outside of my city. And this is one of them. This is Blue Cross, not a big place, but they have a media section which is mostly populated with movies, and this is kind of what you'll see in most thrift stores. That's me. And this is the video game area of the media section, and it's not a lot, but I did live with 3 titles from here, so you know, all in all, not a bad trip. Back to the car to visit a nearby town which had a much larger media section, but these were all movies and music. However, if you pay close attention to the movie section, every once in a while a wild video game will appear. And this is where I found Enter the Matrix, obviously. The only game in the entire shop, by the way. And after this, back into the car and back to Aalborg, which is the city I live in, to one of the several thrift shops here. Again, the media section had music, movies, and a bunch of games, again mixed in with the movies. I didn't leave with anything from here. However, you know, you never know in the future. This is a smaller thrift store that, despite its size, had a decent amount of games. Nothing I'm interested in, and you can see here sometimes the games are packed in with the children's DVDs, and this is the Danish language children's stuff. A lot of Football Manager. This table of electronics is sometimes most you'll get in some thrift stores in terms of electronics. Hey look, it's a basket of cables. And in the same place is where I found a game, again within around the children's section. You can see Settlers and also Horse Racing Tycoon. Now this thrift store is a large one, and it had by far the largest selection of games. I left with a lot of titles from here, and I just found out that the store will actually be moving soon, so I need to visit here as soon as possible.
Welcome to my very first thrifting episode ever. As some of you may know, I told a lot of you either through streams or on the community tab post at the beginning of the year, more or less, that one of the things that I'll start doing this year is actually building a physical library of games, PC games mainly, of course. The reason behind this isn't necessarily to have the like a physical version of the games, but more to have like a physical sort of representation of my passion and interest, which up until now have been mostly digital, including my videos. My videos are just digital if you think about it, really. We will go through my initial 30 plus games that I picked up by thrifting through various Danish thrift stores here in the northern region of Denmark where I live. I'm just gonna go through them so you can see what I found. There's been a couple of titles that I was super surprised to find. Thing is, there's a bunch of them here, like these ones I'm saving for next episode, which I'm gonna give you a teaser at the end of this one what that will be, so I need to put them aside literally. So we'll just talk about these ones, which should still be close to 20-ish titles. And right off the top, Settlers 2 10th Anniversary Edition, one of the titles that I never really thought that I'd actually find. And also, it's one of the titles I covered previously on the channel. I'm definitely collecting the Settlers series, physically speaking, not giving Ubisoft any more of my money now for their digital versions, because fuck Ubisoft, let's never forget. But the physical ones, definitely getting them. And I was super surprised to find this one, especially since I covered the game. I paid for this 10 Danish crowns, and I'll write somewhere what that is, what the value of that is in dollars and other currency. Next one, another one I covered that I really didn't think I'd find, Stronghold, the first Stronghold, which is again game I covered. I'm obviously the games I'm collecting, and I'm not collecting all PC games because I don't give a shit about most of them, technically speaking. I don't give a shit about sports games and other stuff like that, but I obviously want to collect the games that I have played, the games that I've played when I was younger, and the games that I would have wanted to play, which is kind of the theme of this of my channel with this year starting forward, going back and playing games that I either never got to finish when they were released, or I never got to play them at all. Also 10 crowns. This one was super surprising. This is Patrician 2. It wasn't necessarily on my list, but I have played it because I already have it. I have a loose CD version of Patrician 2 with like a nice from the gaming magazine Level I talk about in my Septera core video. So I already had this, but now I have it in a tiny, super nice thin clamshell, and I'm looking forward to finding Patrician 3 as well. I haven't covered any of the Patricians yet, you know, I might. Oh, also 10 crowns. This one, again, unexpected, 10 crowns, Civilization 2 Test of Time. Granted, it's not a cool boxed version, which boxed computer games in Europe in general tend to be fairly rare for reasons I haven't yet discovered. But Civilization 2 is one of the first, actually the first ever CD game I actually played. It wasn't Test of Time, but Test of Time is cool anyway. So again, something I wasn't expecting to find. What do we have here? Again, 10 crowns, Fear. You obviously don't associate my channel with first-person shooters, more or less at all, although I did used to play, I have played some in the long ago, and I do actually plan on covering some really old ones in the, let's say, mid-future. But I played Fear when it was released, and I remember enjoying it a lot, so I might actually check it out sooner rather than later. Oh, this was a very unexpected find, because I had forgotten this title existed, Sudden Strike. Granted, this is Sudden Strike Forever, and it's an expansion, again 10 crowns, but it reminded me that I played the first Sudden Strike a lot. Like a lot. I really enjoyed it. Never played any of the sequels or anything like that, but the first one was big in my circle of acquaintances way back then. This one was 20 crowns, and yeah, it's the Thief remaster, remake, something. It looked considerably, you know, more visually appealing than the original when I bought it, because Thief isn't a series I am very familiar with, but it is something I would have liked to play way back when, but never really got around to it. Now, from what I understand, this version isn't that good isn't that cool basically when compared to the original, and I'll probably wait a while, and I'll obviously play the original because I have it from GOG, but you know, it looked cool enough. This is an interesting find for 15 crowns, Wizardry 8. I haven't played any of the Wizardry games, but as you know, I'm a fan of dungeon crawlers, RPGs in general. And this is seen, it's considered to be one of the classiciest, let's say, even if it's not that old. It's generally suggested a lot when it comes to either to trying out the Wizardry series. So, not saying I'm gonna play it anytime soon, because I have a lot of RPGs on my computer RPGs on my list. But you never know. Let's see what else we have. Again, for 10 crowns, Warcraft 3. Gotta have Warcraft 3. Even though, you know, fuck Blizzard. Again, this isn't... Oh, and by the way, I should mention, most of the thrift stores in Denmark that I get these from are charity thrift stores. So the money goes to either the Red Cross or the Blue Cross or African Mission or something like that. So keep that in mind as well. So yeah, I definitely need to have Warcraft 3. I'm obviously need Warcraft 1, 2, and Frozen Throne, and also need Frozen Throne for the series. 10 crowns, again, Black and White 2 Battle of the Gods. Granted, I covered Black and White 1, and definitely might check this out soon-ish, maybe not necessarily soon-ish, but I have it on my list. So definitely had to have it. And since I mentioned, since I started this with Settlers, I have here the Settlers Rise of an Empire. Again, 10 crowns. This is from, I've never played this one. I've actually never played any of the Settlers games till I started covering them for the channel. And so that means I basically only played 2 2nd edition and 3 now. You know, Settlers has, it's one of those series has been long lasting, and it's city building. It's in my area of expertise, so I am obviously collecting for Settlers. Now, what I'm going to show you now is the first ever game I got in a thrift store, and it's Enter the Matrix, and it looks, it's in this cool cardboard sleeve. There's 2 discs and a big ass manual. Never played this, but the cool thing is that, and you might have noticed, obviously you should have noticed in the previous footage, because I also mentioned it, I found this in the movie area of the thrift store. Again, depending on the location of the place and who works there, age-wise, sometimes you will find, and I have found, games in the movie section. So it's always useful to check out the movie section for games. Likewise, the first Settlers 10th anniversary edition I found in the children's DVDs. So cool, and this just looks cool. It's like cardboardy and cool. Now, this next stack of games I didn't get from a thrift store. Instead, I got it from Facebook Marketplace. I'm building this physical library from nothing, so I won't be picky, and I'm not trying some special sort of experiment or experience just to find everything at thrift stores. I will buy them secondhand wherever I can get them. And Facebook Marketplace seems to be a pretty decent source, at least in my region. So what we have here, none other than Heroes 4. I'm obviously collecting the Hero series, considering how big of a fan I am of the series. Let's not forget, fuck Ubisoft. As you may know, I've covered Heroes 4, and despite what you think or I used to think about it, it's good to have it in the series, in the collection. I'll get the following ones as well whenever I find them. This is an interesting one. This is the expansion, 15 crowns, by the way. All of these that I got from Facebook Marketplace were 15 crowns. This one is Dragon Age Awakening, just the expansion. You might not know this, but I played Dragon Age Origins and Awakening at release and loved it a lot. Did not play any of the sequels because they really didn't look like something I'd be interested in, to be honest. This is an odd choice for me. This is the Prince of Persia trilogy. It has the 3, I think there were 3, there might have been more in the meanwhile, Super 3D Prince of Persia games. I've never played any of them, but the original Prince of Persia has a super special place in my heart and gamer history. And as such, that's the goal, that's what I'm hunting for, an original Prince of Persia on more or less all of the formats possible, on all of the platforms possible. But I thought I'd get this, and it might make me try one of them out. Oh yes, I got this because of the sheer what the fuckery of it. This is Hellgate London. And those of you who don't know, it was a big hit. Well, it wasn't a big hit. It was a hit and a miss, basically. They really tried to do something kind of before the technology sort of was there for them to do it, or the interest or the particular alchemical combination for it to work. Basically a first-person looter shooter Diablo-esque thing. I did play it when it was released though, so that's why I have it, also for like random what the fuckery. Now here's 2 titles that these are Game of the Year editions, and they're totally classics within gaming in general, but especially within their communities, and I've played none of them, either of them, both of them. I haven't played neither one nor the other. This is Oblivion and Morrowind, and I know Morrowind especially has a super active and interesting fan base. I know a couple of them, including my buddy Randolph. So I thought to get these just to have it, you know, like how some people will buy books just to look good in the library. This is the same for me. Now, something that I did play, and not only did I play, but I also covered, is Dawn of War 2. And this one has Chaos Rising on it, which is super cool. And also comes in this really nice cardboardy sort of box. So yeah, unfortunately, when I covered it using the gameplay footage I had was still caught with my old laptop. So the video itself is a bit jumpy. That's the only thing I'd change about that video. I'd really love to have had a more powerful rig to record, but you know, I don't know, maybe I'll try some other day, but I doubt it. Staying in the Dawn of War realm, I also got Dawn of War 1 plus Winter Assault. Now, I've never covered Dawn of War 1, or I haven't covered Dawn of War 1 yet on the channel, but I did play it. I played through the entire campaign. I did not play any of the expansions though. So this one, again, comes in a very nice cardboard sort of sleeve. So that caught my eye instantaneously, but I also played the game, so I wanted it. It comes with Winter Assault, and I also have Dark Crusade. So this one is a bit of a complete sort of thing, I think. Was there another expansion? I'm not sure. I think there might have been another expansion. And getting close to the end here, none other than Neverwinter Nights, which have not played. I mean, I have played, but I have not covered yet. And I do remember enjoying it, but I never got around to finish it. So obviously it has to be part of my collection. Alongside one of its expansion packs, I don't know how many it did. This is Shadows of Undertide, so sure, why not? And the final game I'll talk about in this episode is none other than Neverwinter Nights 2, which again, I played, never got to finish. So yeah, these have been a bunch of the videos I got thrifting, and also from a different secondhand source, like I said, Facebook Marketplace. But when I began this video, I had a bit more. And this stack of games I got from a very special place here in town called Lesehessen, which could be translated as the Reading Horse, which is a specialty media thrift store. This isn't a charity. This is basically a thrift store, what you would think, where you can bring in things and sell them, and then the thrift store sells them forward. So next episode of Video Game Thrifting in Denmark will be about my trip to Lesehessen, about those games and a bunch of more, because I got a bit more. So stick around for that, but the next video is not going to be a thrifting video. It's going to be my normal gaming content. Expect my thrifting videos to be sprinkled on here and there as I find the games and I get to talk about them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I've been Steven Nonsense, and hopefully you'll see me soon.